Now we're going to work on the BRFSS notebook. So this notebook uses BRFSS data, and we have documentation of what each variable means in this data. So the codebook of this notebook can be found using this link over here, or it can be accessed through the Google Drive link that I shared with you. There's a folder called Codebooks, and within that, there's the BRFSS codebook. On day one, we went ahead and uploaded the BRFSS dataset using the first 3 cells of code. And we did that using this URL over here. So we did all this process. We uploaded it from the URL, and then we converted the file to CSV and then stored it in the Databricks file system. So now we're going to do some course examples using the BRFSS data. The first step we want to do is we want to import all the modules that we need, and then we want to import the data and store it as a data frame, and we're going to call this data frame BRFSS 2020. And in here, we're going to print the head of the BRFSS 2020 data to get a snapshot of what we have in our dataset. This code took 2 minutes to completely run, and now we can see a snapshot of what our data is about. So we printed the first 5 rows of the data, and we can see the different columns that we have. Now, again, these columns are not directly understandable. So again, we would refer to the code book to understand what each column is about. The next step we want to do is we want to check for missing values and impute those values. So the first thing we do in this cell is we want to find all the columns that contain missing values. So we look at all the columns within the BRFSS 2020 dataset, and then we want to print all the variables that contain any missing values within it. And so after printing these total columns with null values, we get this chunk of variables that contain missing values. Now, specifically in this lab, we're going to choose to impute the income level within this dataset. But based on what you are doing, based on the data analysis goal that you have, you would want to think about what to do with different missing values in different variables. So the first thing we want to do over here is we want to look at the income level variable. In here, we're choosing to impute the missing values for the income level variable within the BRFSS 2020 dataset. So the first thing we want to do is we want to convert the income level to a numeric value. And this is because when Databricks imports data, all the columns are initially read as strings, even if they represent numerical values. So during the conversion, we use errors equals coerce. And this is because this argument, it handles potential errors that might occur during this conversion. So if a value cannot be directly converted to a number, it's actually converted to an NaN, which is not a number. The next step over here is we want to impute NaN entries with the mean value for the income in this chunk of code over here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to compute the original mean for the income level column. And when we do that, we store it within the income level mean variable. The next step is we want to replace all the NA values with this income level mean that we just computed. And then we want to compute the income level mean again after replacing those missing values with the mean value. And we're going to call this variable income level mean imputed mean. And now we're going to impute the NaN entries with the median value for the income instead of the mean. So the first step is we're going to compute the income level median and store it in the income level median variable. And then we're going to fill all the missing values by the income level median this time. And then we're going to compute the mean again and compare it to the original mean that we have. So in here, we're going to print the original mean. We're going to print the income level mean after imputation with the mean value, and then after imputation with the median value. So after running this, we can see that the income level original mean is 21.5. The income level mean after imputation with the mean is 21.5, which is similar to what it was previously. And then after imputation with the median, we can see that this value changed a little bit. So again, depending on the goal that you have, you might want to consider imputing with either the mean or the median.